Over the last few months, I have felt so much grief and so much sadness.
After Ruby started implementing what she was learning in Connection.
Ruby Franke and her business partner Jodi Hilderbrand were arrested August 31st in southern Utah and charged with child abuse.
I won't be able to go anywhere. No, I don't have any friends, no iPads, no TV.
I know I don't need to sit here and defend myself. I know I don't need to go into the history of what has happened.
And so it's been a wild few months, and this is what we were wanting to do.
Following the August arrest of Ruby Franke and her business partner Jodi Hilderbrand, several family members have come forward to discuss the two of them, their experiences with one another, and their feelings following the arrest. Ellie opens up. Ellie has been the only sister who hasn't resumed back to normal content on her YouTube channel out of all of Ruby's sisters. The only thing that she has come out to say was in a joint statement with her two other sisters posted on Instagram. However, since then, she hasn't been on social media, with the exception of a couple of Instagram stories.
When Kevin Franke, his two adult children, and their attorneys arrived here, and then when they left.
So she started all of her lies back then, lying to everyone in her life.
When I told Ruby that I don't feel comfortable having sleepovers or switching kids with you anymore.
I really am so grateful for our neighbors and friends. They've come over a lot, and
Julie took 5 boxes of mac and cheese and took the mix and made it look like orange juice.
Given the backlash her sisters faced initially when sharing the statement, it's not surprising that Ellie hasn't said anything further. In the beginning, people criticized, judged, and accused them of not doing enough. There was uncertainty about whether anyone at all would speak out, but her sisters Julie and Bonnie did speak out a couple of times, providing more details about the situation and answering questions. They emphasized that they were unaware of everything going on inside Jodi's and Ruby's homes. The information that came out, especially about what happened at Jodi's house, was not only surprising to the public but also to them. Now we're hearing from Ellie about how she's been doing.
After Ruby started implementing what she was learning in Connection.
then we get snippets here and there, and then it throws me through a loop, and
She posted for the first time in months on her YouTube channel in a video titled, "Hi, Checking In." Ellie talked about how it's been on her mind to come back to social media and say something, but she just hasn't been able to. She revealed that she hasn't been doing well and has been trying to focus on herself and her own mental health during this time. Ellie expressed that she hasn't felt ready to be back on social media.
Kevin Franke and his 2 adult children entered the courtroom with their attorneys today.
Not only did all that happen with Ruby, but I had just moved to a new state and Landon had to go back.
I think about her all the time, and she's kind of what is the glue.
Can you give me some breakfast?
You don't need food.
Fun to show you what I've done for my mom and sisters.
She wants to cope through things privately before returning to making videos. She shared her struggles, saying, "I've had a hard time wanting to get on social media because I don't want to get on. I want to go to my therapist to talk things through and to get over my grief. I don't want to come to social media and do that, and I haven't felt ready to come back to do that." She got emotional while discussing how she didn't know when she would be ready to come back. The constant pieces of information seem to bring her down, and she's uncertain when content will resume. Despite this, she wanted to say hi and let people know where she was at.
I felt weird about this Jodi lady. We weren't comfortable with it. We didn't like it. We didn't like the teachings Ruby was bringing to the family.
I thought I was doing good, and I'm just having a really hard time.
Ellie mentioned that there have been supportive people in their lives, expressing gratitude for neighbors and friends who have been there for them. She acknowledged the challenges they faced and how snippets of information constantly throw her through a loop. In light of everything that has come out about Ruby and what was going on in Jodi's home, it's been a challenging couple of years. Ruby's separation from her family and deep dive into connections has been particularly hard for her family. They tried to express their concerns about connections.
Now to the parenting influencer charged with child abuse.
Ruby Franke and her business partner Jodi Hilderbrand were arrested August 31st in southern Utah and charged with child abuse.
3 years ago, Ruby, everything was great. It seemed to be fine anyway. We were a typical family. She was getting some therapy, counseling.
I want to go to my therapist to talk to things.
My bedroom was taken away for 7 months and then you give it back like a couple weeks ago.
I don't think our viewers know that.
But Ruby felt more connected to it and Jodi than to her own family. The consequences of these choices have been evident, and the family has been grappling with the difficulties that have unfolded. Familial struggles unveiled. Ruby's parents, brother, and sisters all have YouTube channels where they share recipes, vlogs, and Q&As about the missions they've been on. They haven't posted in a few months, and for a while now, people have been wondering if her parents returned early from their mission. During this time, people were wondering if they had been left to be with everyone, as everything about Ruby has come to light.
Of wife and mother Ruby Franke, who is accused of child abuse.
I'm speaking today about my sister Ruby Franke, who was arrested a few weeks ago for child abuse. By now, you probably know that.
If someone's being arrested, if someone is getting in trouble for something.
And I said, I want you to replicate the ring. And so he replicated it just like my grandma's ring.
I won't be able to go anywhere. No, I don't have any friends. No iPads, no TV.
However, Ellie says it sounds like they are continuing. The Julie and my mom, and when my mom gets back from her mission, she will be able to have and we will have matching rings, Ellie mentions. Previously, Julie and Bonnie had come out to say that everything going on with Ruby had been extremely hard on their mom over the last couple of years. Ruby had made up a lot of stories about the things that happened in their childhood while a part of Connections. When she left their family, she had only called their mom, and in that phone call accused her of a bunch of things that they're saying were not true. Ellie adds, she did call my mom and yelled at my mom on the phone for 45 minutes and accused her of things that were not true. It was almost as if Ruby had been making up memories from her childhood.
Have not been doing well at all. I have been thinking about a video.
Other than, we're not having fun anymore. Things are feeling kind of weird.
Ruby Franke as an influencer, but we're now seeing her as an inmate, and she's being held in a medical block, according to the sheriff's department.
Russell got the big bedroom and Chad got the smaller bedroom, and Russell's bigger bedroom also had a bathroom.
I have many kids that are the same age as Ruby's kids.
She was trying to grab at anything she could, and she would exaggerate everything. So Ruby started all of her lies back then, lying to everyone in her life, getting rid of all of her friends and family. Ellie explains, I literally had no contact with her. She wouldn't respond to any texts or emails over that time that I tried reaching out to her. Never got a response from her. Bonnie, in a video on her channel, mentioned that when Ruby cut off their family, it was extremely hard on their mom, and she struggled health-wise afterward. Now that all of this has happened,
with the current situation, I feel like I'm on trial. I feel like I'm in trouble.
And I thought, I'm gonna get me and my sister's matching rings. So I took it.
Ellie reveals that 3 years ago, Ruby and Kevin cut off their family, and it had severe consequences. I thought that was going to end my mom. She literally had a heart attack, went into kidney failure, her body was shutting down because it broke her. So you can only imagine what she is going through now.
Called my mom and yelled at my mom on the phone for 45 minutes and accused her of things that were not true.
I'm gonna go, I'm gonna take the kids home. Like, you stay here, wrap things up.
One of those missed warnings included some of the calls that Franke's oldest daughter made to officials.
Ruby Franke and Jodi Hilderbrand were moved to a medical facility versus a normal holding cell. That information is no longer public.
I am asking you to make lunch for the family. Hey, do it with a happy face.
Some have left comments under Ruby's parents' social media telling them to come back from their mission to be with their kids during this time. However, others have said that maybe it's for the best that they are continuing on in their mission. As this is an extremely hard situation for their family, and maybe it will be a distraction for them to be away and focus on helping others. Especially since Bonnie had said that their mom struggled in the past following issues with Ruby, it doesn't sound like they're not in connection at all. It does sound like they are able to communicate this information to their mom and hear from her at least. They hadn't had children yet, but they were posting about their struggles with infertility. Hopefully.
Now, as for Franke, her next appearance is scheduled for September 21st, but both her and Jodi have asked for expedited trials.
I know I don't need to sit here and defend myself. I know I don't need to go into the history of what has happened.
I feel like I have to be so filtered in order to say what I'm thinking, but I have no one that I'm answering.
And when my mom gets back from her mission, she will be able to have it, and we will have matching rings.
But before we do, I'm gonna make sure these kids have something good to eat. So, Boston, get in line.
Ellie can get back to a place where this isn't weighing on her so heavily. It's obviously hard when the situation is so intense and disturbing for her sisters. Legal developments and family dynamics. The custody case for the remaining 4 children that Ruby and Kevin have under the age of 18 has been made private. None of them are allowed to publicly speak on what is going on there now. It wasn't always sealed. It was public at first.
Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch.
As you know, Ruby's family and my family were very intertwined.
The 8 passengers YouTube family appeared in court today. This is them walking into the courthouse.
We are in complete shock still as to what she had done because we had no idea of what was happening.
Toxic positivity, all this, whatever. Jared and I are quick to say you need to feel your emotion.
However, as of recent events, the case has been sealed to protect the children involved. Last we saw, Chad, Sherry, and Kevin were all arriving at the courthouse together. It was the first time that we had seen them together side by side, and also the first time that we had seen Chad in a while, as he isn't on social media. Given everything that had come out about Kevin and Sherry and the status of their father-daughter relationship, everyone was kind of surprised to see them so friendly walking into the courthouse together. The last piece of information prior to this was him trying to charge her with robbery.
And so it's been a wild few months, and this is what we were wanting to do.
Everything that comes into this house belongs to who? Belongs to me.
Over the last few months, I have felt so much grief and so much sadness.
That child abuse case against Ruby Franke and her business partner Jodi Hilderbrand continues to proceed.
They were teaching that to my kids, which was odd, and that had caused some friction.
Hopefully, them all being together walking into the courthouse is a good sign, but that's what's been going on as of right now. That's what Ellie had to say, and also the status of their parents, since people had been curious about that. That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.